friends, welcome back to my channel. I am filming for Makeup Savage Miss. We are doing my November anti-haul video, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. I like to do ranking videos, haul videos, anti-haul videos, will I buy it, and of course a bunch of first impressions, swatch parties. We do a lot here on my channel, so if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I would highly recommend subscribing and ringing that bell so you are notified every time I post something new. Now, I have to give my shirt a shout out today. It's so cute. I found at Target, so if you guys like tie-dye, I will go ahead and link it down in my description box so you guys can pick this up. I love sharing my affordable fashion finds with you guys because I like to spend a lot of money on makeup, but I don't like to spend a lot of money on clothes. So anytime I can find something amazing, I love to share it with you guys. And the inside of this sweater is so comfy. I am definitely living my best life right now. So I have a ton of things to anti-haul. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, I have my handy dandy anti-haul notebook and oh my gosh, you guys, I have 30 products to anti-haul. You know what that means. It's going to be a long video. So I hope you guys have a snack. And the first thing I'm anti-hauling is the Kiko Holiday Collection. Now, this particular collection does have highlighters, eyeshadows. I think I even saw some single eyeshadows. It is a very beautiful collection. It low-key gives me hourglass vibes, except the packaging is a beautiful sea foamy shade. And I'm definitely curious to try Kiko maybe sometime in the future, but this collection is a little bit too neutral for me, so I am passing on it. If you guys have tried Kiko, definitely let me know what your favorite products are. Some must-try products from them down in the comment section because I will definitely be checking because I love hearing you guys' opinions on products you've tried as well. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is this newer collection from Urban Decay. It's called their Decades collection, and they're basically mini eyeshadow palettes. I think there's 3 or 4, and they're 25 bucks a piece. I remember seeing these on Ulta's new arrivals page last weekend, and I was like, seriously, Urban Decay? They're one of those brands, I can see, the old Urban Decay in this collection. So maybe they were, going for nostalgia. But I feel like when you had such a hit on your hands, like the Stone Vibes palette, you'd think they'd want to keep that momentum going. And mini palettes are so hip and cool right now. It's maybe they should have come up with something other than, a retro collection. Also, the other thing is, when you see these palettes, none of the color stories really speak to me. None of them have color stories where I'm you know what? I don't even care what the packaging looks like. Look at all those shades. They just look so beautiful. I need them right now. Therefore, I'm anti-hauling that collection. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Smashbox Always On Cream Shadows. They're $22 a pop and they have 10 shades, I think. There is one green eyeshadow shade. Listen, you guys know I'm a sucker for green. So anytime I see green, pop of green effect totally takes over me and I'm like, oh, it's green, I want it. But even though I think it's a cute color, there's no way I'm buying a cream eyeshadow for $22. So I'm going to pass on it. And I don't know, I like cream shadows, but I feel like eyeshadow palettes just give me so much joy. I'm really not somebody that'll reach for singles versus a palette, so it's an easy pass for me. So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Violet Voss Tie-Dye 4 palette. This is 12 shades for $36. I feel like this palette is supposed to be replacing their rainbow palette, the one that has those bright colors. I can't remember. Is it just called the Brights palette? All I know is Tina from The Fancy Face loves that palette, and I've definitely eyed that older palette because of Tina's recommendation because I know she does some beautiful, colorful looks. So I feel like if Tina likes it, it's probably a good palette, but I never ended up buying the Violet Voss Brights palette, and now I saw the Tie-Dye 4 palette, and it's kind of giving me those same vibes. I like that they switched up the packaging and gave you a smaller-ish looking. It kind of gives me Viseart vibes, the layout, but the color story, it's basically a rainbow palette, and I really don't need another rainbow palette in my life, so I am passing on this palette. Okay, the next palettes I'm anti-hauling are newer ones from Too Faced that launched over Black Friday. So they have a palette called That's My Jam and Fly Eye. These were retailing for $27. Now, I did pick up their mini gingerbread palette. because I was so sucked in by the eyeshadow palette packaging. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't even used it yet. It's literally in that bin behind me in my like purgatory, like I need to use this drawer. Anyway, enough of the embarrassment with Too Faced, but these two palettes are kind of adorable. I like the purple one. I can see a lot of people kind of going for those shades, especially if you're shopping for the next season coming up, which is springtime. I feel like we've definitely all bought our share of Christmassy palettes, so something like this, I think looking towards the upcoming season totally makes sense. I think they're really cute, but I need to slow down on the Too Faced train and try what I actually have from them already, but I did think this is really cute, but for now I'm definitely anti-hauling these. Okay, the next palette I'm anti-hauling is the capsule palette, the anniversary edition by Sugar Pill. This is $42, and the worst thing about this palette is I can't tell that it's a different palette from the first two they launched in the white packaging. I remember seeing the Trend Mood post on this and I'm like, is this a new palette? I'm actually really doubting myself now. Is it a new palette or was it just anniversary packaging? I think it's a new palette. Either way, you guys know, I feel like 2020, I'm like such a Sugar Pill hater, but I'm really not. It's not that I hate Sugar Pill. I just feel like, I wish they had like done more with this whole capsule thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe other people really like the packaging and I'm just the weird one, but I feel like the plastic capsule thing looks a little cheesy. It's a little bit cheap looking. I've seen the palettes in person at my local Ulta, so hopefully in 2021, I think they definitely need to keep up with the releases because I feel like there was a time where Sugar Pill was so dormant. It's nice for them to do frequent releases because I feel like that brings them back up in like Will I Buy It videos and it spreads like the word on their brand. So I think that's a positive. Have they launched anything in 2020 that I'm personally interested in? Not yet, but that's okay. I don't think I have to love everything from every brand, so easy pass for me. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the ColourPop Fade into Hue palette, which is $34. I was so tempted to pick this one up too because when ColourPop launches a palette on a sale, it really like attracts me because listen, I like a good deal just as much as the next person, okay? So I was like, that looks kind of cute. It's a big old rainbow palette, and as much as I love eyeshadow palettes, and as much as I love to collect things and keep my collections going, I feel like ColourPop is a brand in 2020. I've definitely let go of that collector mentality and it makes me so happy because in 2019, I was definitely overbuying ColourPop palettes and I'm happy that I can say that out loud to myself. I can definitely admit to myself when I'm overly consuming a particular brand and ColourPop was definitely one of those brands. So I decided there was no way I was gonna probably use that palette enough, and even if I got it to show you guys on this channel, ColourPop is so behind on their shipping. By the time it got here, we would probably be on to the next thing. And so for all those reasons, it was an easy pass for me, and I'm anti-hauling it in this video. Next thing that's an easy pass for me is the liquid metallic eyeshadows from e.l.f. These are $5. Again, there's a beautiful green shade, definitely catches my attention, but I've seen a few reviews on these and I don't think I've heard very good things, so it's a pass for me. Also, I don't really reach for single eyeshadows, so that's another reason to pass. And the third reason I'm passing on these is one that I'd heard somebody else mention about drugstore makeup, and I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good point. I was watching had mentioned how they wish that drugstore makeup, I think it was Brit that was saying like she wishes she could actually go to the drugstore and buy drugstore makeup instead of buying it online where you can't see it in person and you have to wait until you actually get it in your mailbox to try it out and experience it. And I feel like that's kind of the fun part about the drugstore is being able to go to Target and Walmart and actually see the things in person and pick them up. So if I could give drugstore brands like a blanket note to self, it would be like, please make sure that the newest stuff you launch is actually available in store in a timely manner. Because it is really frustrating, even as a consumer, to put your money into something and then you're not even sure if you're going to like the product. I think that that was one of the best parts about drugstore makeup is it's so accessible. So I would really like to see that change within the drugstore industry in general. Okay, the next thing I'm anti-hauling is another palette, and this one is by Viseart. This is their Liaison Extension palette. It's called the Violet palette. And Viseart has been launching some new products, and again, this is like sugar pill for me. I think it's nice that they're launching things more frequently because it kind of keeps them relevant. I think that it's important for brands to find that perfect balance of releasing too little and releasing too much, and I think Viseart's doing that pretty well with keeping it pretty steady. I like the look of this palette, but I know that it's not going to do what I want if I pick it up. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I used to love Viseart as a brand. I love their matte palettes, but I don't love their shimmer formula, and I've tried to love their shimmer formula, and I think I've just come to terms with the fact that we're just never going to get along. And that doesn't mean that I don't want Viseart to stop making stuff, because I know so many people love their stuff. So I'm just going to sit this one out, but I do think this palette is beautiful. And I think I heard Angie say today that she picked this palette up, so I can't wait to hear her thoughts on this new palette. Okay, the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the new collection from KKW Beauty. This is a crystallized collection. So she has an eyeshadow palette for $45, a mini lip set for $38, and a liner set, a mini gloss set for $42, and a few different blush duos for $26. The blush duos definitely caught my eye. I would be curious to hear what the quality is like. I personally am not planning on picking them up though because I have so many blushes. I just filmed the blush tag, which I'm going to post at some point during Makeup Savagemas, and I promise you I have enough blushes to last me till my dying day. But but they do look nice. I think they're a fun little product, and I think it's a good addition to her line. The eyeshadow palette looks very similar to the stuff she already has, so it's an easy pass for me. KKW was also another brand that I was kind of in that collector mindset, but I let that go this year, and I'm really happy about it because I really don't see a lot of differentiation between her palettes, so I'm glad I'm just not collecting them for the sake of collecting them. The next collection that I am anti-hauling is the Besame X Mary Poppins collection. Now, I know there's a lot of Disney fans out there that are really into this type of collection. It's definitely not my cup of tea. I'm not a huge Disney person, which I'm actually really thankful for because I think it would be so hard if I was really into a brand like Disney because they do so many collaborations with so many different brands that I'd be so attached and I'd be dying to have as much makeup as I could. So very glad that I don't have an emotional connection to Disney or Mary Poppins. So I'm going to be passing on this, but I do like how Besame tries to really hone in on the essence of the brand and whatever they're collabing with. I feel like they've done that time and time again with their previous Disney collaborations. So they really kind of try to infuse the makeup with the characters and the colors from whatever film or character that they're collaborating with. The next thing I am anti-hauling is the Morphe x Lisa Frank collection. This is another one that I don't have any emotional attachment to. I didn't grow up in the US, so I didn't ever have any Lisa Frank binders or stationery, so I know I remember like seeing it when I was in college, but honestly, Lisa Frank's vibe is so not my vibe. Like, I love bright colors just as much as the next person, but there's nothing about this collaboration that screams to me it's not something I gotta have. And I'm so glad because, again, this color story is just not for me. I did hear Angie say in her Will I Buy It video that this is just the Morphe 35B, which is their 35 Brights palette, in updated packaging. So they didn't even really do anything with the packaging, which I feel like is a little bit like, oh, well, what the heck? Like, you couldn't even switch the colors around, but I haven't really investigated it, so I don't know myself. This is just what I heard, but you guys will have to let me know down in the comment section. Did you guys pick up this collection? I promise I won't judge, because if it was something that really like tugged at my heartstrings or like was a throwback to my childhood, I think I would feel differently, but I feel nothing when I look at this Lisa Frank stuff, except that maybe it's a little bit psychedelic. Like, the neons, it's like, are we on a major trip here? But yeah, other than that, it's an easy pass. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Trixie Cosmetics Mad About You blush. So this is $28. It's super cute. It definitely has like a, I don't know, it kind of gives me like Too Faced Love Struck blushes or whatever, those heart blushes that they had for a while. Definitely reminds me of those, but Obviously, it's like a little bit different packaging with the hearts and it being like a palette, but I'm not really interested in this. Like I said, I have all the blushes I need. I have heard that people really like Trixie Cosmetics. It's not a brand that I'm really interested in at this time, so I'm passing on this. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the ColourPop, the Big Poppy eyeshadow palette. I realized that they kind of did this because the yellow one they did was such a success. I feel like at this point, do people not have like a matte neutral palette with like some warm tone orange shades in it? Like, I'm so surprised that ColourPop decided like, ooh, everybody loved our pop of yellow matte palette, so let's do a pop of orange. I feel like this was definitely like a bit of an unnecessary palette. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion though. I have a ton of matte shadows like this, so I definitely didn't need this, but I'd be curious to know if you guys picked this up or if you thought that maybe somebody you know and love would be interested in this. Personally, it's like such a pass for me. Okay, the next thing I'm anti-hauling is also from e.l.f. Cosmetics. They launched a hydrating core lip shine in 8 shades for $6. So I have a few of the e.l.f. sheer slick lipsticks and I really like those. They're like a sheer balm texture. So I'm trying to figure out why these ones are different. These do look really cute and interesting. And again, if I saw them at the drugstore, I'd be interested in maybe picking one up just to try out the formula. But since I have to order them online to try them out, I'm not really interested at this time. If you guys have tried it, definitely let me know because I'd be curious to hear. I'm sure somebody will get them in PR and do a video, so I'm going to have to keep my eye out and see if I find a video with swatches because I'm very curious. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette. I would rather you buy the Big Poppy eyeshadow palette from ColourPop than this one from Cosmetics. I just don't get the appeal of a brand like Cosmetics. I know there's probably a lot of Michelle Phan fans out there and stuff like that, but I feel like for the price that she charges for her makeup, it's very overhyped and overpriced. So this one is such an easy pass for me. I feel like the color story is very boring and lackluster. Like, you can have a neutral palette but still make it something fun and interesting. And the shapes remind me of those Makeup Revolution like burger palettes. It's just an all-around pass for me, so I'm definitely anti-hauling that. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Kylie X Grinch collection. So I know a lot of people, including myself, were really interested in this launch because I thought Kylie was gonna do like the green of all green palettes, and then she gave us a neutral palette with like 3 pops of green. And I feel like it's a good effort, you know, I get it. Like, but I just watched the Grinch animated movie and there's so much color in that movie that I'm a little bit shocked that they didn't add a few more fun colors. Oh my gosh, I would love to do like a Grinch palette with like my single shadows. I feel like I should do that because even little Cindy Lou is so cute. Like, me and Rel just watched the animated Grinch movie and it was so cute and so colorful and so festive that I feel like she could have definitely probably done a little bit more, but I feel like this was one of her collections that really was eye-catching and the PR box was so iconic and then like the lipstick set was so beautiful. I think she did a good job. It's just not something I was drawn to, so I'm anti-hauling it today. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the ColourPop Amore collection. I don't know. I think it's their holiday collection, so they had 2 palettes, 2 blushes, and 4 lip oils. And this is one of those things where if it's on sale and people aren't buying it, you know it's not very good. And I feel like the gold palette definitely reminds me of the palette they did last holiday season. There is that beautiful olive shade that's like really calling to everyone, I think, but definitely not a good enough reason for me to purchase. I did buy 2 lip oils though from ColourPop when they were having the sale, but they're not from the holiday collection. You guys know I can't say no to a terracotta nude shade, so I did pick this up. They're really nice. My friend Angie has been raving about these, so I'm glad I was able to pick 2 up, but I don't need any more because I have a ton of lip products. And yeah, this collection was all around kind of a boring collection for me, so easy pass on that. So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Glamlight Paint Pro palette. And this one I've heard quite a few good things about. I feel like people that picked it up over Black Friday have been really saying some really good things about this palette. So maybe I feel a little bit of FOMO, but not enough to actually have that money leave my bank account. I am a Glamlight affiliate, so I do have a code with them. I did buy the original paint palette and I liked it and it was nice, but it was such a big palette and I really wasn't reaching for it, so I did end up decluttering it. And I felt like it would have been really silly for me to buy another palette that's exactly the same concept. So I did pass on it, but I did pick up their holiday foodie box and I'm so excited because there's so many new goodies in that box and I hope I get it soon because I will definitely be posting an unboxing and first impressions video on all the products in that box. I'm so pumped. So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Alamar blush trios. This one was tough because I thought these blush trios were so beautiful. The one for deep skin tones especially really caught my attention. The colors look so beautiful and I really want to try more products from Alamar. But the thing is, I already have so many bronzers and blushes that I really couldn't see myself making room for these products. So I did pass on them. I was a little bit sad to pass on them because they did have a decent sale during Black Friday and it would have been nice to pick something up with a little bit of a discount, but I decided that I didn't need it and I couldn't justify spending the money when I already have so much. So anti-hauling that. The next thing I'm actually really happy I didn't end up buying is the Wayne Goss palette. I think it's called like the Pearl Moonstone palette or something. Something about that palette when it was originally launched really called to me. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably the pop of blue effect that was happening with that shimmer shade. And overall, I'm really glad I passed on it. I feel like I can do nicer looks with my blueberry muffin or my bubblegum palette from BH. And if I want to pull in grays, I can use that new waiting room palette that I got from the Melt Holiday collection that they did in collaboration with Beetlejuice. So I feel like I can kind of go through my collection and find dupes for the shades that were really interesting to me. I feel like the palette was definitely putting me under a spell, but that faded pretty quickly after I really looked at it. And honestly, when I saw people swatch the palette on video, I thought it looked so lackluster and I was like, what was I thinking? Like, why was I into that palette? It looks so bad. So easy pass for me on that one. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is another palette from Violet Voss. It is the Forget Me Not eyeshadow palette. Now these eyeshadow palettes are pretty tiny. I have picked them up in the past and ended up decluttering them because I don't really love them. And this blue palette is cute and you'd think I would have really gone for it, but I feel like I have this color story over and over again in my collection and I feel like I have all the blue palettes that I need, that I love, like my Blueberry Muffin and my Bubblegum from BH. So there's nothing new in this palette that I really felt like I needed, so I did end up passing on it. Another really easy product for me to anti-haul is the Laura Lee Nude 2 palette. This is like a revamped version of her Nudie Patootie or something like that, I think. I don't even know. Honestly, I really feel like this neutral palette from her is so boring and I don't know, I guess if you have a really light skin tone, this could be really beautiful for you and that's okay. Like, I don't care. I don't want it, but it just looks like it would be so ashy on like my skin tone. And I feel like it's always interesting to think like Manny and Laura are such good friends, but there's such a difference in their makeup lines and I think it's really interesting because I feel like Manny's makeup line is so much more interesting to me than Laura's, so it's very interesting that they have such different aesthetics even though they're such good friends. Does anybody else feel that way? Let me know down in the comments. Next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Haus Labs 4-Way Shadows. Now, she came out with a bunch of quads, and I'm not gonna lie, there were a few that really caught my attention. There was one that had like a coral and a green and like a white shadow. I don't know, it looked really interesting, so I was like, ooh, something from Lady Gaga that I'm really interested in. Maybe I'll want to try these out. Then I looked up the price, and they're like almost $25, and I was like, are you kidding me, Gaga? Like, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm going to buy your makeup on Amazon and it's like a cardboard packaging for 4 eyeshadows, I'm expecting like an $18 price point. I'm not going to lie. I haven't seen anyone posting any videos with these palettes, so I'd be curious to see if anybody's reviewed them or if anybody received them in PR, but I don't know. I like passed on them because I was not willing to spend that kind of money on on 4 eyeshadows, to be very honest with you guys. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Viseart Petite 4 collection. I thought this was so cute, but again, this was one of those mid-tone palettes where none of the quads really called to me. I feel like this collection really would have benefited from some depth, and I would have loved to see like a blue quad and a green quad. Maybe it's coming, you know, maybe this is them just trying something out. So I'm curious to see what shades they launch in the future. I'm guessing because it's Viseart, you know, they're a solid brand. I'm sure there's no lack of quality with these, but it just didn't do anything for me, you know? Like, my panties are secured to my bottom. They are not flying off of me when I see this collection. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Milani Color Fetish Shine lipsticks. Oh my gosh, I almost bought these. I was this close. I had them in my cart. And then I was like, you know what? Like, they look really cool because I saw somebody swatch all of them and the packaging's so cool. And I'm like, you know, I really don't want to spend $30 on getting some lipsticks over here. And I don't want to spend $30 just so I can get free shipping. And it just goes back to that same thing I mentioned with drugstore. The whole point to me of drugstore is to be able to see it in store. And the fact that drugstore brands think I'm about to spend 30 bucks on their website trying a bunch of lipsticks that I'm not even sure I'm gonna like or work for me is ridiculous. So as much as I love Milani, I'm gonna have to pass on these for now. Maybe in the future they'll launch a few more things, so if I do end up placing an order, I can try a bunch of different things, but for now it's a pass for me. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Fenty Rose Pave and Royal Icing highlighters. Again, I was this close to buying them on Black Friday because Fenty had a pretty good sale on their website. I think the whole website was like 30% off. And I had purchased a little set of Fenty stuff from the Sephora website that had come in, but I hadn't tried the products out yet. So I knew I was getting one of the Diamond Bombs in that set. And I'm like, Karen, why are you trying to buy more things when you haven't even tried the one you have in your collection yet? So I like this. It's definitely not love, and I'm low-key glad I didn't buy the 2 full sizes because that purchase would have been over $50. And as much as I love to like spend money on makeup, it doesn't mean that I don't think things through. Like, I know it seems like I'm like a makeup savage and I don't care and I just buy what I want, but I really do try to put some thought into everything that's entering my collection. Hopefully you guys have noticed that, but if you haven't, you know, that's fine too. But I really wanted these because they look so pretty, but I feel like me and Fenty, there's some products I love from Fenty, and then some products I'm like, eh, and then some products I'm like, no, don't you bring that gloss bomb near me. So yeah, that's an anti-haul for me. Next thing I'm anti-hauling is also something I was this close to buying. It was the Winky Lux Cheeky Rose Blushes. There were 5 shades for $20. And Winky Lux was having a really good sale as well. My friend Amy posted about how they were doing like free shipping and the blushes were like $14 a pop. And I almost bought one, and then I was like, you know what? You don't need another blush. It doesn't matter. You know it's a beautiful coral shade, but is it really gonna matter if you have your 50th coral blush when they all kind of look the same on my cheeks? So I did decide to pass on them, but I hope people take advantage of that sale because I know a lot of people really wanted those blushes. And so, yeah, hopefully you guys picked them up if you wanted them. I did see Hannah Louise Poston did a pretty thorough review on them. So it was really nice to get her perspective because I know she definitely put those things to the test. But you know what? It's just one of those beautiful things that I know is out there and exists in the universe, but it doesn't mean that I have to own it myself. So I did end up passing on those, and I'm anti-hauling it today. Next thing I'm anti-hauling, this one is so easy. It's like too easy, you know? It's like a cheap shot, but Morphe Nikita Dragon. Oh my gosh. Like, this palette did not need to exist. I don't know. I would love to know what the numbers are, like how many of these palettes they sold. Like, I would love to see like what products from different influencers like really make brands money. Like, wouldn't that be interesting to know? I'd be so curious, especially because I feel like these bigger influencers don't have as much sell power as they used to. I feel like it's definitely the time for smaller influencers and micro influencers. I feel like brands are really focusing more on smaller content creators, and I think that's really cool. Not that I want to take away from bigger influencers, but anyway, I just feel like this was one of those collections where it was like the Lisa Frank, like they just took some palette that they had with a bunch of bright colors, and Nikita was like, sure, I'll take that. I don't know. It's so interesting. I just feel like this collaboration didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And I wish that as much as they put in time creating like these beautiful campaigns, I wish they would spend time in investing, creating packaging that's more oriented around whoever they're collabing with. I didn't feel like there was anything special about this collection, so it's an easy pass for me. And then the last thing I'm anti-hauling is this sort of boring ass palette from Linda Hallberg. This is the new golden eyeshadow palette. I'm a little bit shook that she did a neutral palette. It is $55. I've tried Linda Hallberg in the past, and I'm not a huge fan of her eyeshadow formula, to be honest. Plus, you can't really find her in the US, so you do have to buy from her website, and usually shipping is a bit pricey, so it's not one of those brands that you can shop from at an affordable price. And sometimes I like deals on makeup too, so I'm definitely passing. And it's like there's interesting neutral palettes, and then there's like this neutral palette, and it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm passing on it. I definitely think it's very, very boring. So that is it. That's number 30 on my anti-haul list for the month of November. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. We have one episode left of 2020 of my anti-haul series. This was something new I started in 2020. So I hope you guys enjoyed every month sitting with me for like an hour talking about the makeup I didn't buy. And let me know in the comments if you want to see this series continued in 2021. I definitely feel like you guys enjoy it, so I'm planning on doing it, but maybe I need to ask. Maybe there's something I don't know. So let me know your thoughts on continuing the series into 2021. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video tomorrow. Bye, guys!